Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and I don't know if you've heard or not, but I have started a new hobby, and it doesn't have anything to do with sewing, but it is a fun, quick project that when you're all done, you end up with a beautiful little bowl of fibers. These fibers look better on the floor. And what we're going to do is rug tuffing. Now, the good thing about rug tuffing is we can do it as big and as small as we want. So we can make rugs or we can make just fun little projects. So today I'm going to share with you some of my hints and tips on getting started, a pattern that is easy to do if you're going for the first time, and it has great results. Rug tuffing is a lot of fun. I do hope you join me. So to start with, we are going to need some supplies. We will need a frame. It has to be a good solid frame, and this one does have adjustments to it. We need our cloth that we're going to tuff on, a backing fabric. We're going to need some yarn, and of course we're going to need a tufting gun. I'm using the Clawlab tufting gun number H1. What I really like about it, it is very, very lightweight. So I'm going to be able to use it for a long period of time, and it doesn't bother my hands. When we finish all of the tuffing, we're going to need to secure all of those fibers together. There's a few ways we can do that. We can use heat set with a glue that is like a powder. We put it on and we can heat set this. But there are other types of glue that you can get as well. So the first thing we need to do is set up our cloth onto our frame. Now those lines are there to help us line up things. It won't matter if it's horizontal or vertical, it's what you feel most comfortable with. But they do help us keep things straight. We do need to load this onto our top bar. And that top bar has this little bit of a Velcro on it. So I like to start from the center, and I'm just going to smooth that right along that Velcro tape. So it stays on really well. Now I'm going to roll this all the way, and I'm going to keep my lines straight as much as possible as I roll this up, and I'm going to roll it right to the end. Once it's all on, I'm just going to secure it with these big clips, and I did get these from IKEA. I'm going to put that aside and hook up my frame. Now it is important that we have a very sturdy counter. On both ends, we do have these little clamps. We're going to be able to just open those up until we get the right side, then slide them on. So be sure to have that frame all the way against the back. Once it's on, we're going to be able to tighten them. And we're going to do that to both sides. Once that frame's set up, we're going to just snap on that cloth. And that cloth is going to go through a little opening. When you look, you'll see that there's an opening there. The cloth will go through that little piece. Now that it's done, you can pull them all down. When we get to the bottom, we're going to be able to put it in the gap between those pipes. So I have that fabric in the bottom. We need to leave a couple of inches, and then we're going to just turn this so that the fabric starts to lock into place. Now don't go too tight, because what we need to do is lock in these side pieces. Have this little piece go up, and then just with your fingers, we're going to separate this little rail. And the fabric is going to fit right inside there. And it just is going to snap right back in. Just snap that together. Now these ends are going to go down. Now we're going to be able to tighten it up at the top. The rollers and those sides are really making that good and tight. Now the canvas is ready for us to work on. It really does need to be very, very tight. The kit does come with the tufting wool, so I would recommend starting with something like squares. And that way we can fill in one square and move over. and just keep filling in the squares until you run out of your wool. This is going to give you a good chance to learn the machine and get the feel of how this is all going to go. Now keep in mind that this is the back of the project. So if you have any words or anything that is directional, you need to do it in reverse. I'm using the Clawlab tufting gun. You must have electricity to go with this, and we do have a power source. It's a USB-C, and that's all there is to turn it on. We can take that lid off, and this is adjusting the speed. So just adjust that to the speed that you would like. So this is very lightweight, so it's going to be very easy to use. But the one thing we need to do is keep this straight to the ground. Not up, not down, and not to the side. It is always going to go straight. So before you load this, just take it and press so that you get used to the feeling, and do it somewhere on the outside. The firmer we press, the better it is. Once we get used to that, just practice right here where there's no pattern. And we should be stitching coming up. So I'm going to go to the bottom and I'm going to come up. So I'm going to start with a medium speed and we're going to go up and try to keep that nice and straight. If you do not press hard enough, the gun wants to poke out. So if I'm not putting any pressure, you'll see that it backfires. We want it to stay in, so we do need to add a little bit of pressure. Once we get used to that, we can load it. If you can, start your thread right from that center. Having those fibers come out from the center is just going to make it a little bit easier for us to put in a bowl and use. With the Clawlab, we do have some oil, a brush, some little screwdrivers, but what we're looking for are these long, thin wires. And that is a big threader. So we're going to be able to thread that through. Be sure to have the gun off. I would recommend going through these guides into that center and down into that hole. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3 eyelets and then the hole. Now we get to start. Just put it in, get that firmness that you like. Keep that so it's ground level and just go up and stop. So there is that first row. The next row, we're going to go right beside it. So a little bit of a space is fine. And that's all there is to it. It's all keeping that pressure in and keeping this straight. And let me show you what it looks like on the other side as I'm doing it. And that's 1 4-inch square. Now I'm going to be able to continue and do different squares of different colors until I finish out this whole area. 1 more square to do. I've chosen black. This is so much fun. It is so quick to do and it's very satisfying. Are we ready? I'm done, and there's so many possibilities. There are times we're going to find where we have skipped stitches, and there are a few reasons that will cause that. 1, could be that the canvas has loosened up. So every once in a while you can go and tighten this to keep it tight. And the other thing is for us not to have that back fabric running along this edge. We're letting it bounce. It also could be something as simple as we're holding those fibers. We pick this up and we don't realize that we're holding it. Sometimes we'll get a buildup here, the fibers build up, and that will not let the fibers come through that hole. So that's going to also jam it up. And as with all things, there could be something so simple as a knot. And of course, it's very important when we are using this to keep it on the proper angle. We do want to keep it quite straight. If we're coming down or going in any angle, our stitches will get skipped. So to finish this off, I'm going to do a couple of rows of stitching all the way around just to frame it. Now all along we have been going up in one direction, but if we need to change directions, what we want to keep in mind is this needle needs to be flat going in the direction that we're going. So in this case, it has been going up. If we need to go sideways, this needle will have to go sideways. The machine is still going to go horizontal, but we need to go this way. So this flat is always going in the direction that we are going in. So I have my border done, it's all trimmed and cleaned up. Now let's look at the front. Now that I'm happy with the front and the back, I'm going to be able to glue this back so that all of those fibers don't fall out. And I love all of those fibers that have fallen off. It looks like I'm celebrating my finished project with confetti. Now we can make this larger if we wanted to. We would have to remove these side clamps and then glue that back. We need to secure this, and then we could roll it so that it comes down. If we don't secure it, having that rolled, it can loosen these fibers. So we do need to glue this back. I'm not going to need to glue the back. This is as far as I'm going to go. So I'm going to be able to loosen my sides. I'm going to be able to open that, and I'm going to be able to take it out of those rails. So here is the back, and there is the front. Now these fibers are very loose inside. So if I was to pull, I could pull them out. So we do need to be gentle. And now I need to secure the back, and I'm going to secure it with a glue. I am going to be using a powder, and with that powder, I need a heat press. But I do have a little tip on how to use this powder. But before I do that, I do need to cut this out, and I will be gluing on this fabric that has felt on the one side and a non-slip little grip on the other. So these layers are going to be glued together with the felt side down. So we could just glue these layers down and then trim around, or we can fold back and have that edge go right along the folded edge. And this is the technique that I want to do. Now we can just spread this powder on and move it over with the spatula. And since this is a powder, I'm going to put it into an Old Spice container. We need to spread this glue all over the surface. So I'm just sprinkling this. We do want to be semi-generous. Now I can put on that next layer and line it up. I will be putting that pressing sheet over top so we have a big surface to work with. Now this does vibrate, and the reason is it's taking all of that adhesive and making sure it gets into those fibers. I have it set for 30 seconds. I could check and make sure Now I know I'm good for the rest of it. Place it on and just let it heat set. And I'm going to do the entire surface. Now it is really important that we let this cool down before we take it off. We do want that glue to set. Once it's cooled down, just start from a corner and peel off your paper. And that backing is put on perfectly. And it looks fabulous from that front side. Now this is really nice just the way it is, but we can trim it if we'd like. Now you can get all sorts of trimmers, and it's really as simple as giving it a haircut so that we're making sure all of those fibers are the same. Once we've trimmed that up, we can take some type of a comb and clean up those fibers, or just take it outside and give it a good shake. And now that that's all done, we have a nice, beautiful, thick, soft rug with a no-slip surface that we created all on our own. So my rug is now approximately 17 inches by 25 inches. Each of these little squares was 4 inches. I was able to just go straight, except for that very last top border, which I was able to go sideways. It's a quick and easy project to make, and it is a great pattern if you're starting out and you want to get comfortable. I did have that nice big collection of fibers, and I do have a little bit left over and a couple of balls that I didn't use. We really do need a good sturdy frame and a tufting gun that is comfortable. There's many different styles out there. I like that this one is all closed. I don't have anything that can get caught. It's light, it was easy to use, and I was able to do this all in one day. And I'm sure if I turned this up, I could have got it done even quicker. I'll put some links in the description to Clawlab so that if this is something you think you'd be interested in, well, you can check it out. Thank you for joining me today on So Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I have a newsletter. It's all free under So Very Easy. And be sure to make every day, well, a rug terrific day. Bye for now.